hello to all my friends in the UFO, the United Fanzine Organization. Anybody else who's watching is going to be probably muy confundido, if I got my Spanish right. Very confused because you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But this video is aimed specifically at all my friends and co-members of the United Fanzine Organization. Now guys, you know, I mean, there was a chairman vote back in November when David Branstetter said he couldn't, you know, he was having a hard time, he couldn't continue, and I volunteered to run, and 6 hours later, for chairman, and 6 hours later I was the chairman because, you know, the lightning speed with which things get done on the internet, which is something that affects the UFO and Tetragrammaton Fragments, the UFO newsletter in particular. You know, changes may have to be made in the near future because of that. At the time that when the newsletter was begun, the BPP newsletter back in the late 60s by Sam Gafford, they did voting through the mail. There was no online. There was none of that, and you couldn't vote. You know, if you ran for chairman, it took you months. You had to have a campaign, and you know, it lasted through several issues of the newsletter, and people read about it, and then they responded by writing letters and sending columns through the mail, and it took a long time. But these days, you know, you can announce your candidacy, and next thing you know, a few hours later, you're chairman. I mean, it happened to me. Like, wow. My head's still whirling, spinning, whirling. By golly. You can see that in a scene from the latest Flash TV episode on the CW. Which, by the way, you know, I was watching Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW, and, you know, I even downloaded the app just so I could watch it, and quite frankly, I was kind of unimpressed, except for Brandon Ruth. It was good to see him back as the Man of Steel, right? And but other than that, I was pretty unimpressed. And you know, I haven't really missed seeing the superheroes on the CW. I love the heroes, but I don't love, I guess, the budget and, you know, the way things are done. It's just can't compare to the movies. Of course, the Marvel movies being far better, but, you know, the DC movies do have their moments. I did like Shazam. At first, I didn't know what to make of it because I've been out of touch for a long time, ever since C.C. Beck was doing Captain Marvel. After that, you know, I kind of lost touch. And, you know, when I would see an issue of Shazam on the stands, I didn't like what they were doing with Captain Marvel. First of all, he's Captain Marvel. He's not Shazam. Shazam is the wizard. You know, gave him his powers. And how do we get into all this? How do we get it? I digress. Well, this is my room, folks. This is my room, and it's this kind of dark, and there's an air mattress here. That's what I'm sleeping on right now because BB has left the building. BB has moved into the house, you know. She bought the house, and I'll be moving there soon, but I haven't moved yet. So, folks, don't ask me for my new address. I'll let you know when I move in. She has to move ahead of time before me. There's various reasons for that. No, we're not breaking up. It's just that, first of all, I'm under lease in this apartment, and I have to find somebody else to rent this room. And secondly, her sister's coming to visit, and we'll be there a month, and she's sleeping in the same room as BB, so that kind of puts me out, you know, out in the cold, and that's where I am, out in the cold, but actually I'm here, and, you know, until the end of March, and then I'll be moving into the house, and at that time, I can promise you folks, all you folks have been asking me, I will send you my new address. In the meantime, keep sending stuff to my old address. 6825 Tanglewood Bay Drive, apartment 113, by golly. Yeah, here's the guitar that somebody was throwing out on the dumpster. It's an Ibanez guitar with all kinds of stickers on it. And, you know, it plays pretty good. You know, somebody was throwing this out, and I was just astonished when I saw it, and I thought, well, no way, this thing, there's got to be something wrong with it. So I took it home, and I plugged it in, and it plays like a beast. It plays great. Okay, but you know, I want to get through this thing pretty quick, so I'll talk about, you know, just a couple of things. UFO guys, have you seen this one? I can't even see it. It's so dark in this room. Let's go over here. Whoa, it's Jim Maine's Whatever. Whatever. It's good zine, and I'll be reviewing that in the next issue of TF. Oh, by the way, if you haven't heard the deadline for Tetragrammaton Fragments number 255, my first as the UFO chairman in quite a long time, it is Friday the 13th, March 13th. I thought it would be kind of funny to put it on a Friday the 13th. Well, in this issue, we discuss you know, the passing of the great Bill Schelly and the great Sam Gafford, and we really miss these guys. And you know, Jim did a beautiful job on this particular magazine. I know the camera's all over the place, folks. I know. And here I am in the hallway because there's more light here, right? And yeah, This and That by Jim Maine. Beautiful production on this thing, as always in a Jim Maine publication. You know, I like the article on Superman and the Mole Man by Buck Oviatt. You know, with a lot of great still pictures in here. Phyllis Coates and George Reeves. And really, I like the whole book, of course, but then again, I'll be reviewing this later. There's Jim Maine with Sam Gafford, and there's Bill Schelly with Roy Thomas. And here's Steve Keeter, the chairman of the UFO, for the first time in a long time. And I've been chairman, I don't know, at least, I don't know, 10 times. I've lost track, you know, a bunch. So, very quickly, let's get through this, because I'm just, not only am I digressing, I'm just crazed, flailing about, and just throwing stuff out. Yeah. So, I was looking at the UFO Constitution, and here it is, and this is page 1. And there's page 4, there's page 2, there's page 3. This thing is really long. And, you know, one thing that I did when, and I'm responsible, you know, for the most part, because I wrote, the original UFO Constitution was based on my memories of Carl Gafford's BPP Constitution. When I took over, revived the group in 1973, I didn't have a copy at the time. Chuck had, I think Chuck, did he just moved away or what? But I didn't have a copy of the BPP Constitution that was written by Carl Gafford at the time, so I just came up with a Constitution off the top of my head, and that was the first UFO Constitution since we changed the group's name from the BPP to the UFO. I was going on a vague memory, and I just, you know, trying to be logical and do things the way I thought they needed to be done. You need to have this rule and that rule. You got to publish, and you got to contribute to the newsletter, and you got to send in your dues money. But now, and I rewrote the Constitution, and other people have rewritten it, have added amendments and subtracted amendments and did all kinds of stuff over the years. Anyway, it's 4 pages long, and that's really long. Well, when Jim Maine and I revived the BPP, wasn't really the BPP, it was a brother-sister organization to the UFO, but a bunch of us old UFOers got together in the late 1990s, and we put together another group, and we simplified the Constitution. I wrote a very simple Constitution. Yeah, I wrote that one too, and but I wanted to simplify the rules. I didn't need a lot of, no, it's just too much. There's just like too many amendments and too many, you know what I'm saying. It was this one right now that we have, it's good, but it's unwieldy, and things can be really simplified. It doesn't have to be like that. The one that I wrote for that BPP was, you know, less than a page long. And, you know, we'll get to that later. And it's something I want to work on, and I'll send out a proposal to everybody. I'm going to rewrite the entire Constitution. I'm going to rewrite it, simplify it. I mean, essentially the rules will be the same, but I'm just going to simplify the language and call it up for a vote. Oh, what else? What's going on? I had to make some notes here. Yeah, these UFO videos. I'm going to be doing videos like this every week or every couple of weeks and sending them out to the members of the UFO, or just posting them on YouTube and keeping everyone informed on what's going on in the group. Who's in, who's out, what's changed, what hasn't changed, what's coming up. Are there going to be group projects that we can all get involved in, like, you know, the UFO Jam comic and things that we did over the years? We had voting, the UFO awards. Are we going to start that stuff back up again? Well, maybe. I'm sure thinking about it. And I'm really excited, you know, having been elected chairman. Taken me a while to get here since the election in November. At this moment, I'm still waiting to receive David's last issue, 254, of Tetragrammaton Fragments. I was waiting for that before I really got started with my whole chairmanship, but I can't wait any longer, and he said it's in the mail, so it's on the way, so I figured, here we go, let's do this, let's get moving. So, and I'm looking at the website here, and trying to see what the heck haven't I mentioned yet. Oh, the deadline. I mentioned the deadline. I did that. Yeah, I mean, I repeat, and here it is, right here on the TF 255 deadline, Friday, March 13th. Whoa, what happened with the lighting? So yeah, that's happening there. I have to, like Jim Main sent me whatever, and I have to keep track of, and, you know, write down, I got to make note of the new UFO zines that have been published, some of which are internet only zines, PDFs and whatever, and so I need the new newsletter. I need to look at what was listed there, and they need to take stock. I need to, you know, note what has been released since then, so I can write the next checklist, the UFO checklist. I really need to get things organized, and I'm starting. I've got a good old-fashioned folder right here to put stuff in. Tetragrammaton Fragments. See, I got notes already here. Notes, the deadline, and the amendment voting. And we're going to try not to do all the voting online, because the UFO newsletter has to have a purpose. And beyond just everybody saying hello to each other and saying, hey, I like your zine, here's my newest zine is coming out soon. You know, all that stuff is great, you know, and if that's the primary purpose these days, that's cool too. But it would be nice if amendments, see, we do a lot of voting online, as with my chairmanship, and because it's quicker, things have changed. But if it's not written down in somewhere, if it's not printed, if it's not on paper, then it's hard to keep track of. If you go back years later and you're going through the history of the UFO and what happened, if it's not all, if everything's being done online, nothing's being written down, and all that research going through old issues of the UFO newsletter isn't going to yield you much information. So. Well, anyway, Jim Pack passed away recently. Sam Gafford, Bill Schelly. Bill Schelly was never a member of the UFO, but he was a regular contributor to Chuck Robinson's comic, which was one of the original BPP comics and zines. Chuck also joined the UFO later, but we miss all these guys. They're the greatest, and they were the greatest, and you know, somewhere up there in comic book heaven, they're all hobnobbing and creating, and you know, these talents we've been given are a gift from God. I strongly believe that, and it's just something we have to do. We're compelled to do it because we were created to do it. I believe that, and it's one reason I'm back in the UFO, and I'm chairman again, or I ran for chairman and you know, got in. And the thing is, it's like a bird. A bird has to fly. A bird has wings. Well, we have talents, and we're given those by the Creator, and we're going to use those talents because we have to do it. We were born to do it, and we will continue to do it. And it's going to be a great year for the UFO folks. Well, what else? I'm sure there's a lot more I could talk about, but I really didn't make any notes or anything, and so I just wanted to get this rolling. I wanted to get this started, okay? My chairmanship, as far as I'm concerned, begins now, today. And, well, there's another thing. We're going to vote on an amendment that I have, changing the election from September to November, because I was elected at the end of November. So the way it's going to be is there will be an election for chairman at the end of November, the 1st of December, with the chairman assuming office on January 1st. That makes it easy. January 1st to December 31st. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. Yeah. The 31st. So that's simple amendment, but it just, it kind of clarifies things. The elections haven't gone according to schedule, and we're gonna get things back on track. All right, guys, that's about enough. And what else could I tell you? I'm selling some stuff on eBay, some comics. After all these years, because after my divorce, I was out of small press, except for Jim Main, who kept like throwing a noose around my neck and pulling me back in to get me to write this and write that and draw this. And thanks, Jim, for ruining my life. But no, seriously, no, thanks, Jim. Jim kept me going during a time of great change in my life after that divorce over a decade ago, and he kept me involved marginally in small press, and now we're back in there. We're blazing ahead, full speed ahead. Thanks, Jim. Thanks to all my friends out there. Thanks to Rob Imes for all you did for the UFO. Even now, you're giving me advice that is invaluable. And I might have digressed a little bit there, but basically, Verl Holt Bond, welcome back. Welcome back. I don't have the list of members here right now. You're all the greatest, and we're going to try to grow this co-op this year. We're going to get some more members. If you know somebody you think might be a good member, send it along. Let me know, and we'll put them up for a vote. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you next time. It's great to be chairman of the UFO again, and again, it's going to be a heck of a year. So I have all these ideas, and you guys see what you think. I just hope you like what I'm going to do during this year, and I know we're going to have a blast. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Happy, what is it now? Today's February 9th. Happy February 10th. Adios, friends.